vision. What are you looking to do? Hey, Cynthia, say thank you so much for joining us. Will, Faze, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's take a moment. You're going to close your eyes. I'm going to do it with you, right? And you're going to picture yourself of where you're going to be in 6 months. So it's going to be March 18th, 2024. Hey, John, Betty, Augusto, where are you going to be when you go to work and you drive home, or you walk home, or you take the train home, or you take a bicycle home, whatever it is that you do, that's okay, right? What home are you walking into? How does it feel? How does it smell? Right? What does it look like? And if you want to share these things with me, please go ahead, put them in your comments, right? When you go to open up and unlock that front door, is it peaceful around you? Do you feel safe? Hey, Leon, Eric, Joyce, Celine, thank you so much for joining us. Does it feel peaceful? Does it feel safe? What's your vision right now when you go to unlock that door? When you go to take the step into the home, how does it smell? How does it feel? Who's waiting in there for you? Is it your wife? Is it your husband? Or is it your children? Is it your parents? Right? Some people are maybe getting like ticks, right? You're going like, oh, I don't want to think about it because I'm thinking about how I maybe I'm still living with my parents. Maybe I've gone through a hard time, or I never moved out, right? And maybe you're feeling, in that vision that you need to do that in 6 months or a year. So, what's that vision as you walk into the home? Who's there to greet you? How does it smell? Does it smell clean? Does it smell fresh? Does it smell like good food? Or is it those negative things? Right? Maybe it doesn't smell so great. Maybe there's people yelling and screaming. Maggie, Maria, Pedro, thank you so much for joining us. Maybe it's not smelling so great. Maybe the sink is not working correctly. Maybe the heat is not working well. Maybe the electricity flickers on and off. Maybe you don't have a good heating system, because you might not feel that right now, September 18th. But most of us come like in January, February, March, we need that good heating system, right? A lot of us here in the United States, right? We need that. So how are you feeling? And so now you have this little vision. I just gave you a little taste of that, a little taste of your vision. Well, now, what are you going to do to take that next step? Because you see, I have fun stuff here. We're going to talk about the Fun Day Monday winner. We're going to talk about my book, right? We're going to talk about things to look out for in older homes. We're going to talk about managing conflict. We're going to talk about some real estate agency agreements and some questions that maybe you have when it comes to real estate. So I have tons of great stuff to go over with you here today. But before we even do that, let's talk about the real estate. Hey, RBT, J Betts, Pocket, Solomon, thank you so much for joining us. What's your feeling about things? Because maybe if it's time for you to make a move, you need to be the one to take action to do that. You see, I can only help you so much, my friends. So, something to think about. So we talked a little bit about the Fun Day Monday. We're going to get back to that because we are going to do our wonderful world of announcing the winner pretty soon. All right. So that's going to be a fun thing that we're going to do. And so what I want to start off with, though, is I want to talk with you about 3 health dangers to look out for in older homes. Okay, this is one of the articles that I kind of came up with, and I said to myself, man, you know what? That might be something that we want to think about, that we want to talk about, are the 3 health dangers to watch out for. Okay. And, this is an article right in the National Association of Realtors magazine. And I think it's something you're going to find useful and helpful. So the first one is lead. And these are things that we talk about in our real estate pre-licensing class. We are an approved school here in Connecticut. This is what we talk about specifically, about being able to help you get the information that you need. Hey, Angel. Hey, Jump. Thank you so much for joining us. So the first one is lead. So where is lead found? Okay. It's found in paint, right? It's found in plumbing fixtures. It's found in the dust around the earth, around your home. It's found in the soil around your home. And that's the scariest part, because if it's found in the soil around your home, well, then what can it get into? That's right. You said it, the water, right? So, who's at risk for this? Well, most homes built before 1978, before the federal government banned consumer use of it, right? They have some kind of lead of it. Even a lot of homes right now, they have lead plumbing, right? Especially the drain pipes. A lot of times they use copper pipes around us. Sharon, William, thank you so much for joining us. They use copper pipes around us for the water supply, but for the water drainage, or you might have lead in the paint, right? And so, what are some of the health risks of lead? Well, some of the health risks are headaches, abdominal pain, easy for you to say, right? Abdominal pain. Okay. Anemia in children. So that's something to watch out for, especially with young children. We need to watch out for lead, the nervous system, digestive organs, and more. So, what is it that you can do when you're buying a home? Well, first of all, if you want to, you do have the choice to get your home tested for lead. And that might be something that you want to look out for, right? And there are certified lead inspectors and um, um, certified lead professionals that are able to help you understand, do you have lead at all, right? And so we know that sellers are supposed to disclose if they know that they have lead, if they have reports on lead. We know that they're supposed to disclose that. But do we always find out about lead? No, we do not, my friends. So that would be something that you probably really want to be on the lookout for, is the wonderful world of lead. Okay. So that would be number one. Now, number two is asbestos. Okay. Number two is asbestos. Again, one of the magic dates, right, when it comes to a lot of these, is the 1978, right? Because once again, asbestos was used quite often before 1978. Hey, Cara, Crimson, Jeremiah, we appreciate you. Appreciate all of you with the likes and the shares. And, again, if this is something that I can help someone out with, that someone needs to know this information, or you think they're going to find it useful, please reach out to them. Please share this with them. Okay. Please make sure you're sharing this with them. So asbestos, right, used before 1980 in what? Insulation, vinyl flooring, roofing, siding. I grew up, right, in a home with asbestos, and you can see how I turned out, right? I'm only kidding, right? You can see how I turned out. The whole point is, though, my house did have asbestos in on the shingles, right? And we used to throw a tennis ball against the house, and my father would come out yelling, "Stop throwing the ball against the house." And then we'd break those asbestos shingles. We didn't know anything about it. But now that we know, when those asbestos shingles are broken, well, what ends up happening? Right? What ends up happening is that, and I want to see if this is a little bit better with the lighting. I don't know. What ends up happening is that it gets in the air. It's what's called friable, right? Friable, friable. And when it's friable, that means it can get in the air, it become airborne, and get right into your lungs. Right. So you have to be careful of that. You have to be careful of asbestos containing products. Sometimes it's even in popcorn ceilings, though. Like I'm helping someone right now, Kazi, K&D, John. I'm helping someone right now buy a home, and they're nervous. They're they are very, very nervous about every little thing, which, hey, I don't blame them, but they want to really make sure. Right? They want to make sure that this home does not have asbestos, and they don't like those popcorn ceilings. They want to get the smooth ceiling, right? They want to get the smooth ceiling. So what they're doing is they're getting a test done on the asbestos. But guess what happened? They wanted to get a test done. The seller said no. right? Because the seller didn't want it on record. The seller didn't want to automatically feel like, oh my gosh, now that my home is going to be listed as having asbestos, right? And so the seller says, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to allow that to happen, right? And so what can the buyer do? Well, the buyer can say, well, forget it then. I don't want to buy the home, right? The deal's off. But they didn't have that necessarily as a contingency right in the beginning, right? So those are some of the things that come up. So that's why you have to make sure that you have an agent who's looking out for you. If you believe that there might be asbestos, be careful. Don't saw into it. Don't sand it, right? Don't scrape it. Don't drill holes in it, because once it's in the air, right, you could have some breathing issues. That's the least thing you want, my friends, right? You got to look out for those lungs. You got to take care of yourself. I mean, give me some likes and shares for that. Who doesn't want to take care of themselves? Come on, Harold, Ray, Petey, Walter, who else is online here? And as we are going through this and talking about some of these things, Joel and Mark, please feel free to write any questions on here that you might have, things that you might want to talk about. Jose, Dean, we definitely appreciate you joining us. All right. Third health danger that we want to talk about to watch out for in older homes is what? Well, the wonderful world of mold. Oh, man. The wonderful world of mold. That is a scary thing for a lot of people. All right. And that's something that we are going to want to make sure that we are looking out for, right? What's the story with mold? Well, does that help out a little bit? Oh my goodness. I'll tell you, it's kind of driving me crazy, this lighting system over here. Because one minute it was a little bit brighter, then it got darker, and now it's brighter. So mold, well, the first one, it's raining outside, right? So there's a lot of water all over the place. And the more you get exposure to water and organic surfaces, that's where mold comes from. Robert, Goldo, S. Bear, thank you so much for joining us, right? So mold can grow on ceiling tiles. It's going to grow on wood. It can grow on paint. It can grow on wallpaper. It can grow on insulation. It can grow on drywall. It can grow on carpets, upholstery, right? So when there's too much humidity, right, or there's too much water and it's not drying out correctly, and that's why humidifiers are so important. Humidifiers, right? That's why making sure there are no roof leaks are so important. That's why taking care of basement leaks are so important. The worst thing is when I go show a home, I did it on Saturday, right? I go and show a home. Hey, Denise. Hey, Bri. Hey, Mac. And the basement is all moldy. I mean, those are things that you can take care of pretty darn easy. In some cases, you can take care of it yourself, but if it's a larger area, you want to get remediation. And in many cases, that can only be done, right? That can only be done by a professional, because you need to have the certain enzymes, you need to have the certain materials in order to kill that organisms. Mold is an organism. Right. So before we go any further, right, before we talk a little bit more about the wonderful world of Monday, and we announce the winner of the $25 Amazon gift card, tell me, who has questions? Who has things that they might want to talk about? Okay. So Ruben, Samuel, Tyler, please make sure that you put out there whatever questions you might have. All right. We're getting there. Little kind of infomercial, but not really, because I'm not selling anything to you, right? What I am to explain to you is that I have free materials for you to be able to help you. Well, what do you mean, Rob? What are these materials, right? What are these things that you're talking about? Okay. Well, the things that I have to show you, to talk with you about, is my book, Selling Secrets You Can't Afford to Miss. Right, I'm going to see here. I got an idea on things. Right, I got an idea on things. I'm going to try this. Maybe this helps me out just a little bit. All right. I think it does. Probably just a little bit on my wonderful world of the. Um, Give me a moment. Give me 20 seconds, my friends. All right. There we go. Better. Oh my goodness. Talk about driving me nutty with this wonderful world of these of the lighting here. So, Lynn, Leo, Mary. All right. And I got a couple of different things going on here. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not going to have too many problems here. Good. All right. All right. There we go. Good stuff, right? Can you tell that I'm a pain about things and try to get them as right as possible? Can you tell that I want to do the best job for you? Sometimes I don't have the tools that I need. Like I don't have necessarily the right hair products to keep my hair in there. I don't have always the right lighting that I want to have to feel good about these videos. But I'm trying my best to help you get to where you need to be. So what we were talking about is the selling secrets you can't afford to miss. I'm not selling this book. In fact, I will give it away free to you. All you need to do is private message me and be like, hey, Rob, I want to get a free copy of the book. And I can get you the digital version anywhere in the world. If you're here in Connecticut, I will drop off the book to you, no charge, simple and easy. I'll do a little drop by, say hello. And what you're going to find is that these are the best kept secrets of successful home sellers, right? These are the tips that I have used, the tactics that I have used. Okay. So these are the things that you don't want to miss out on, these opportunities in order for you to get the best tips, right? When thinking about selling your home. And this won't cost you a penny, right? This won't cost you a penny. It's here for you. Quick, simple, and easy. I put some time in here. I put some energy in here. In my preface, I talked about my personal life here and just wanted to share this with you. So if you're looking to get the secret selling tips, I mean, you might think it's, oh yeah, if I put my house on the market, I'm going to sell it in a minute, right? The thing about that is that, yes, it might be easy for you to say that, right? But there are issues that come up, right? And that's my wife walking by with our little baby grandson there, and he's a lot of fun. So we got to have some likes and shares for that. We're always having fun here at the house, right? And I do have a little office that I can use kind of downstairs area, but I'm not a basement person, right? So I'd rather sit over here than go and sit in the basement, right? And so you might be wondering, well, how come he doesn't just go to his regular work office? I have a beautiful work office. I just don't like going there. I like to be at home. Okay. So next thing I want to talk with you. So the book is available to you. We are going to get ready to do the Fun Day Monday. We're going to get ready to announce the winner in a couple minutes. Well, probably like 4 or 5 minutes maybe, because I do want to get through another item of information that I wanted to talk about. And that's all about conflict, right? Oh, wait a minute. Well, remember, we were talking about vision. And when we talk about vision and making changes, hey, Ricky, Ken, Roy, Michelle, Debbie, so good to see you here. When we talk about vision and making changes in our life, right? Well, now we might talk about there being some conflict. There might be some issues that come up, the difference between your vision and the experience that you are having. Again, your vision and then the experience that you are having. And so, well, what is the difference between those things? Well, stress and emotions in a real estate transaction, right? In the real estate world, those things are for real. It's not like what you see on HGTV. Oh, let me go on HGTV and I'm going to see somebody say, oh, we love this home and there's 3 of them that we really like. And these 2 are more on the higher end of our budget and this one's lower. And we're going to sleep over it. We're going to have a nice seafood dinner, and then tomorrow morning we'll make our decision. That is not real life, my friends. I'm telling you right from the start, hear me out. Saxy G, Garrett, Ricky, Subi, Bonnie, and the rest of you that are here, please feel free to put in any comments, but those are not real life. Basically, when conflicts arise, you know who's going to help you out the most? The experienced practitioners. What does that mean, Rob? Experienced practitioners. Well, that's me, right? These are people, like, I've been doing this for 23 years. These are people that have mastered their craft. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and neither are all the other 20, 30, 40 agents, year agents who have been doing it for that long, right? But I can tell you that you do have a much better chance for clear and concise communication, which is so, so very important. You have a much better chance to get transparency, right? To make your experience as good as possible. Honesty, right? So again, clear and concise communication, transparency, honesty, keeping discussions peaceful. I mean, don't we want to have a peaceful experience, a smooth experience, a moving forward experience? So to me, and this one I thought was pretty huge when I read it, okay, is preempting conflict. So that's number one, preempting conflict. And what does that mean, preempting conflict? Louis, Rosh, Edwin? Well, having upfront conversations, upfront, discuss what is your vision. I mean, is the real estate agent that you're working with, are they asking you, or do they even care? And if they don't care, is that a problem? To me, it's a little bit of a problem if they're not asking you or care about your vision. What is it that you want? What are your expectations? Right. So one of the most important skills that we need to do in order to work well with you, our clients, right, is being able to listen, being able to clarify questions. Like, example, what is important to you about buying a home? What is important to you about selling a home? And being able to drill down, peel back the layers, get a little uncomfortable. Because I can tell you, it will sometimes get a little uncomfortable, right? But after some time, after some discussion, after some quality time, that's when you get to know each other. And each one of you, meaning the real estate agent and the client, you get to expect what is going to be available, what is basically each person wants. Right? And is that realtor going to work in your best interest? Right? Whose interest are they working in? Wait a minute. Are they just trying to make money off of me? Or are they working in my best interest? Right? Are they knowledgeable about the details of how the market works? And are they willing to share that with you? Are they knowledgeable about how closings work? And are they going to be willing to share that with you? What is it that they're going to do to preempt conflict, right? What is it that they're going to do? Now, number two is confronting conflict, right? And confronting conflict. So we know that not every real estate transaction is going to be the smoothest, right? Not every real estate contract, or experience is just going to go right through without a problem, no issues. So when an issue does emerge, when something happens, right? How do we let it work out, right? Do we let it fester? Do we work towards coming up with a clear, concise solution, or do we let it fester? How do we even make it better? Right? What are some of the ways in which we can make it better? Do we go back and say, you know what? Let's revisit Let's talk more about our expectations. Let's talk more about our vision. Let's talk more about what the understanding is that we had. You know, just as an example, sometimes I have to talk with a seller and be like, hey, you remember we decided to price it on the high range. We tried it. We worked it. We did 4 open houses. We spent money here. We spent money there, because whether you want to believe it or not, as a good real estate agent, hey Nisa, Rosh, Puff Belly, Lovey, whether you want to believe it or not, I don't just take a listing and throw it into multiple listing service for free and just wait. First of all, it costs me money anyways for the multiple listing service, and quite a lot. Right. But then I'm marketing it all over the place. I'm spending 300 here, 150 there, $90 there, $40 there, $60 here. Facebook boosting, Instagram boosting, making the reel, professional photography, the drone, the this, the that, and it gets really crazy. And so now here we might be, and we're like, listen, you knew we were pricing at the high range. We tried it. We spent time. We spent money. So now's the time to adjust the price. Okay. And so that's going back. So we talked about preempting conflict, right? We talked about confronting conflict. How about number 3? This is a hard one. Number 3 is a hard one. I hope you're ready for it. Right. And that one is, my friend, managing expectations. Oh my gosh. Managing emotions. Managing emotions. What if one party raises their voice? Right? What if the client raises their voice? What if the real estate agent raises my voice? I'm going to tell you, I'm not perfect. Have I raised my voice? Of course. I might do it later today. Who knows? I don't want to do it. Right? I don't want to raise my voice. I don't want to be upset. I don't want my client to be upset. So, sometimes we have to take that deep breath. We have to try to keep our ego out of it, right? We have to stay composed and look at one another and say, listen, I know maybe one or both of us, we're upset. Hey, but you need to hear each other and address what is being discussed so that you will not be upset and you will be able to come to a solution. All right. So managing emotions is a small little discussion item in my notes here. And this is an article that was in Realtor Magazine by Lee Nelson called Managing Conflict. It's actually this spring. It's a great article. It was put together this spring. But so I want to give him credit for that. I believe it's a him, right? How to successfully navigate disagreements, miscommunications, misunderstandings. Right. So there's not a lot written here about managing emotions, but right. So there's not a lot written about managing emotions, but it's a pretty important one, because if you let it get out of hand, you might as well forget it, my friends. Right. And then lastly is what my grandmother told me all the time. Right. And what was that? Let it go. So number 4 is moving past conflict. How do you let it go? Right? Once you drilled down that there was an issue, there was a concern. Hey, Brian, Bertha, Deb, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Of course, to all of you, we appreciate any likes or shares that you have. But you drill down to what that real issue is during the conversation. Right. And once that's clear, you address it and you move forward respectfully. I can tell you one thing everybody likes is respect. Everybody wants respect. I got family members that have their tattoo that says respect, right? Because here we are, we're an Italian family, and we're all about loyalty and respect. If we don't have loyalty and respect, we feel like we don't have anything. Right. So when you're with a client, you're with a real estate broker or agent, right? what is it that you're doing? Are you respecting each other? Are you respecting each other's time? And if you're that person, I'm not saying you are, but if you are that person, well, I'm the customer and I'm always right. Well, I can promise you're not always right. And if you're that real estate agent says, well, I've been doing this for 20 years and I know everything and I'm always right, then I could tell you, as the real estate agent, you are not always right. All right. So you have to find a way to move past that conflict, right? Find a way to meet expectations, look at that original vision, and then go from there. All right. So that was everything I had about managing conflict. Hopefully, you felt like it was exciting to you as much as I was, right? So we talked a little bit. Now we're going to get to the fun part. Okay. Let's do the Fun Day Monday Amazon gift winner. So, my friends, I did it earlier, okay, only because it was just the easiest way to do things. And I came up with the winner. What I did is I tore up all the pieces of paper, right? That's what I used to do. What I did is I put the names all on this little app thing that I can't do because it's on my phone. And I do a little spin, it goes. And so for September 2023, the Rosa Monday winner of the $25 Amazon gift card is J. Dean N. I'm not going to give you her last name, J. Dean N. So technically, what I'm going to do is we still have a couple of things that I want to go over with you and talk about some questions and answers for real estate. But what I'm going to do is when I get off this line here, I'm going to call up J. Dean and ask her if she watched my live. Because I have this baby going on TikTok. I have this live going on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I have it going on YouTube. I have it going on everywhere. And so if she didn't see it, I'm going to say, listen, J. Dean, you missed out. You missed out on some of the greatest information, and one of the pieces was that you won the September 2023 raffle drawing for the Amazon gift card, and then I'm going to send that over to her by email, which is really cool. Hey, David, God's Journeyman, which is a really cool name. Vanessa and Rob, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all your likes and your shares. And so now I just want to spend another 5 minutes. And again, I'm here to answer your questions, right? I'm here to answer your questions. And so one of the questions that I get from quite a few buyers that I thought would be important to go over with you is, how do I determine the amount of my initial offer? So once again, the question that we're going to go over is, how do I determine the amount of my initial offer? Right? We talked about vision. We talked about things to look out for an old home. We talked about my book. We announced the winner of the September 20, because we do this monthly, the September 2023 Fun Day Monday. And now we're going to answer one more real estate question for you here and hey, Ali, thank you so much for joining us, right? Is, how do I determine the amount of my initial offer? So here's the first thing. There is no rule, right? There is no rule in trying to calculate a realistic offer. Naturally, of course, we know that you as the buyer want the best value, right? You want the best value. We don't blame you for that. And guess what? The seller wants the best price. And we don't blame him or her for that either, right? We don't blame the buyer for wanting the best value. We don't blame the seller for wanting the best price. But there are some negotiating factors. There are some terms in which might help everybody, because it's not always about you see, it didn't say what's the exact purchase price, but the amount of my initial offer, and I will tell you what are the terms, because in many cases, it's the terms that count, right? Is the seller changing jobs? Do they need 5 months to stay in the home still? Okay. Or do they need to move really quickly? Right. And what's the condition of the home? After you've looked at the home's features, asked questions, maybe checked comparables, right? You should have an idea, well, what is that home really worth, right? Um, are you going to negotiate just on price? Is that something that you really want to do? Or with both sides, will both sides give a little bit? Will both sides compromise a little bit? Because you see, basically, you're preparing, right, to have this consummation. That's what they call it, the closing of the loan, right? It's called the consummation. So you're preparing to do that. You, as the buyer, you have your vision. You, as the seller, you have your vision. And a good real estate agent, someone who's, like we talked about, experienced, knowledgeable, clear, and concise, honest, and transparent, is going to help you get to that next point to understand the price. Because you see, and cycle ahead, Rico, Teddy, wife, thank you so much for joining us. You see, what I guess the point that I want to get to is that you need to have a target as a buyer. You need to understand, well, what's going on with that home? Is it just been on the market for 2 days and they're having tons and tons of showings? Of course, that home, if you're in central Connecticut area, is probably going to get 3, 5, 7 offers. Of course, and if it's priced right, right? Of course, it's going to be under deposit quickly. But maybe if it's been on the market for a while, maybe if it needs a little bit of work, maybe if the asking price doesn't match what's going on in the market, there's room to move. There is still room to negotiate in this world. And it's a weird thing. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for 23 years, and I do find that there's not as many people ready to negotiate these days. They just look at the price and say, oh, well, that's going to be too much for me, or I wouldn't pay that price, or I wouldn't sell for that amount. And there's strategies in place. And that's where this book comes in, especially when it comes to selling. And I'm working on one for buyers right now. There's strategies in place in order to get you what you want to get. All right, my friends. I didn't see I saw a couple of comments come by, so I definitely appreciate that, and they were positive. So thank you so much. I saw quite a few likes. I saw a few shares. So thank you so much for that. That's definitely appreciated. And feel free to reach out to me with any questions, anything you want to discuss. I teach the real estate class. I help people nationwide with credit repair, and we can help you get to that point. I'm a licensed real estate broker with an awesome company, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, New England Properties. I love them. They treat me and my clients like gold. So that's, and I have a team that I do coaching and mentoring for. And so I would be available to help you if you need that as well. So I'm going to let you go. That's everything I got for you today. And this is Rob Rosa. Hopefully your favorite real estate broker. Signing out, my friends, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless you and have an awesome day. Bye.